everyone, this is Heather. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I've got a card tutorial for you. We're going to make this pretty tropical thank you card using some new products from Stampin' Up that are available in the 2018 catalog. So I'm using products from the Tropical Escape suite, and I wanted to share with you some of the products that are in this line. So there is a new color that's been released, and it's Granny Apple Green. And so there is a really pretty new ribbon. This is the textured weave ribbon, and it's got the Granny Apple Green and kind of like a grosgrain, and then there's white stitching on the edges. This is really pretty. So that's the new ribbon. Then there is also the Granny Apple Green ink pad, and it is in the new style of ink pads, and these are a little bit slimmer than the old design, but you still kind of lift up. There's a little latch there to put your thumb in. You raise it up and then slide it down in the channel, and it locks in place. So this way your ink is stored where it's facing down so that your pad is always nice and juicy when you're ready to use it. So just to look at the new ink pads, and that's the new Granny Apple Green color. We will be stamping with that in just a minute. There is also the Tropical Chic stamp set. Again, as always, sorry for my overhead lighting. I can't figure out a way to fix it. Anyway, so this is Tropical Chic, and it's got 3 great kind of jungle tropical leaves. They are solid. And then there's the pretty flower. There's a couple of backgrounds, some stripes, and just some kind of wonky ovals, I guess. I'm not really sure how to describe that. And then some great sentiments with much love and thanks. You're the greatest, and thank you. So that's the stamp set. And then there is also a Thinlits dies. This is the Tropical Thinlits dies, and it has all 3 leaves and the flower, and then there's also a nice square background that opens this really nice whole detail, but it keeps it all together in one section. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's really pretty. If you check out my channel, I did a giraffe card using this die, so you can see it in action. It's really cool. But the thing that I love so much about these leaf dies is that you can stamp out the leaf and cut out what you've stamped, or you have the inside of the leaf as well. So you can do an inlaid die cutting technique. So you could you know, do 2 different colors and piece them together like a puzzle piece, or cut this out of a separate color and just adhere it over to the top. So that's really great that you can use the dies on their own just by cutting out cardstock, or you've also got the outline of the stamped image as well. And today we're going to be using the flower. And then there's also a really pretty set of pattern papers, and I'll go through these real quick. These are 6 by 6, and they are double-sided. So there's this great stripe and a black and white polka dot, pink lines, some great kind of like palm frond leaves, and all over leaf and polka dot pattern with another great palm frond on it. This is a nice pretty pink kind of watercolor wash, and on the back is a green and white stripe. Then there's a black and white and a stripy check pattern, green on green polka dots, another pretty pink, and then black and white leaves, pink and white polka dots, and then it's all over kind of, this is a very kind of retro green on green pattern, black and white stripes, another big white with a paler green, kind of elephant leaf there, really pretty overlay with different colors of green and pink flowers, another neat leaf pattern all over flowers, multicolored leaves on the back with a little bit of a paler leaf behind it, another kind of cool retro funky print, green on green leaves. This has a very kind of bamboo look to it, another nice leaf pattern, and then sort of looks like a diamond pattern, but it's actually made out of like a harlequin pattern. It's actually made out of little leaves. So that is the pattern paper that goes along with this set. really pretty, but I actually wanted to kind of make my own pattern paper with the stamps in this set so I can get kind of a fun layering effect. So that's what we're gonna do today. So you're going to need a piece of green cardstock, and I wanted a square card. So this is cut to 4 1/4 by 8 1/2, just scored and folded in half. And then I've got a pink piece of cardstock that's been cut to 4 by 4. Then the white layering piece of cardstock that's been cut to 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. Then we're going to need just a little long piece, and this is 3 3/4 long by 3/4 of an inch high. And then also some just additional white cardstock to do our text and our flowers on. And then 2 pieces of the new pretty ribbon, and these are cut to about 5 inches long each. So we're going to start off stamping our background. So I have the granny apple green for one of the leaves. Then I've got lemon lime twist for one of the other leaves, and this is one of the older styles of ink pad. Then I'm also using pear pizzazz. Just have one of the little spots for that. And then for the border and the flowers and the text, I'm using Flirty Flamingo. But first I'm going to stamp my background, and I'm going to grab a piece of scratch paper because I'm going to be going off the edge and I don't want a lot of ink on my work surface. So I've laid my piece of white cardstock onto just a piece of white scratch paper, and I'm just going to randomly stamp the leaves. I'm going to, like I said, stick with one color per leaf, and I'm going to layer them each over top. I'm going to start out with one leaf and one color, and with the Stampin' Spot, it takes a little while to kind of ink it up, but I'm going to get some good ink on there and stamp that out. So with a design like this, I am not too worried about all my images being dark and crisp and clear and perfectly stamped out. This is kind of a layered look. It's a little bit looser. If you want a really solid, crisp look with each and every one of the leaves, you could use a stamp positioning tool, but it will be a little time consuming. And for this, I don't really mind too much if it's not got complete coverage. So I'm just going to continue on and add the same leaf in the same color. So I've taken the pear pizzazz and I have laid out several of that large leaf, just twisting and turning. Some are going off the edge more than others. And now I'm taking this lemon lime twist and just doing the same thing. And you just kind of want to fill in all that white space and just continue to overlap those leaves. So there's my second leaf with my second color. I'm just building up those layers. And I do like to start off with my largest stamp and kind of work down to a smaller stamp, so then I can sort of fill in any of those spaces that I might have. And so I'm moving on to my third leaf and my third color of the granny apple green, and same thing, just going to go over top and twist and turn and add some more of this on top. And real quick, I shared this in last week's video, but in case you missed it, I wanted to share a little bit about the new Simply Chamois with you. It is a cleaner for your stamps. You do not need to apply any type of a spray cleaner to it. It's a nice cushy foam out. You just wet it and wipe your stamps clean. It's really convenient if you're using a stamp positioning tool because it makes it easier to wipe your stamps off the platform before you remove them. The ink does not transfer off onto your fingers. It stays onto the pad. So I just wanted to share that with you. So I'm going to clean off all my stamps. So now I'm ready to move on to my pink stamping. So on my piece of white, I'm taking this Flirty Flamingo, that's hard to say, and I'm going to be stamping out the thank you. And I'm using the second to the largest stitched shape oval dies. So I just want to make sure that I leave enough room that I can trim that out with the die, and then I'm going to stamp out 3 of the flowers that come in this stamp set. And I will be using the die for that to die cut those out as well. So I'm just going to do this 3 times. And I will be using the die and a little bit of repositionable tape to die cut these out. And I just like to tape them down just so they don't move or shift around in the die cut machine. So I'm going to die cut these and I'll be right back. So I have run 3 flowers through the die cut machine as well as my sentiment. And now I'm ready to stamp up my little border. So I'm just going to stamp that a few times across. I'm going to grab my scratch piece of paper and place it under because I'll probably be going off the edge. So I'm just going to line this up with the edge. Doesn't have to be perfect. And again, if you have trouble like lining anything up, you could use a stamp positioning tool. So I've got that all the way across. I actually didn't end up going off the edge, so just 2 times side by side, and that gives me my little strip. So now I'm ready to assemble my card. I'm going to take the strip that I stamped and just run some tape runner on it, and I'm going to tape that down towards the bottom of my stamped leaves. I'm going to take this piece to the pink cardstock. So I'm centering that, and before I put this down, I want to put my ribbon down. So this is a little trick that I like to use to tie a knot on my card. So I like to take 2 pieces of ribbon, and the one that's going to wrap around, I'm going to lay across the front of my card where I would like it to lay. I'm going to turn my card over, and I'm just going to use some regular Scotch tape and tape those little ends down. You could use your tape runner too. So I've got that piece, and now I'm going to take a second piece and slip that under, and then I'm just going to tie an overhand knot. To me, this is so much easier than trying to fidget with one piece and, you know, wrap it all the way around and tie it. You still get the exact same look, and to me that's just a whole lot easier. Then I'm just going to take my scissors and trim the tails off just a little bit at an angle. And now this is ready to adhere to my card base. Just put some more tape runner on there and center that onto my green cardstock base. And you could have a top fold or a side fold on this, doesn't matter because it's a square card. So I've gone ahead and applied foam squares to the back of my flowers and my sentiment. So I'm going to place the sentiment about in the center of the card with the foam tape, and then just scatter a few of these pretty flowers around, kind of overlapping the ribbon a little bit and the text, just to kind of pull it all together. So this is a really quick, easy card. I love this color combination. The pinks and the greens are just so pretty. It's so summery and tropical. I just really love this. So I hope you enjoyed a look at the Tropical Escape Suite from Stampin' Up and that you enjoyed this card tutorial. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and check out my channel for lots of other card tutorials and some product reviews, and I hope to see you next time. This is Heather. Thanks for joining me. Bye!